All right, folks. While everybody's down at the keynote, we're going to take a look at the site book. Look, the keynote is kind of a major event here, and they do the Power Retailer Awards. We covered those last year with those retailer awards. This year they've got like 1,200 seats in there for, I don't know, 4,000 people or something like that. There was no way we were getting a seat, so rather than just stand in the back of the room and sweat to death, we figured we'd sneak over to the media room and we'd pull out the site book and give you a look at this, give you a taste of what this is like. Again, look, the site book looks a lot like the ones you'll find at Origins or Gen Con or one of the other big conventions. However, you're going to see some key differences here. And we talked about some of those last year in our GAMA Expo coverage, where this is more of a B2B, like retailer and publisher focused event. This is not a consumer event, but you're definitely going to get a sense of that as we start flipping through here. So again, lots of ads for publisher stuff, but it's very focused on the retailers. Hey, buy these things for your store, not, hey, customer, come check this out. So we've got, look, there's not much to a table of contents. It's not all that exciting. We do have a welcome column from the executive director of GAMA. That's John Stacy. They do have an app. Got the app. Going to try using the app. I'll let you know if the app's any good. Apparently this is the same app that is going to be used for Origins. There's just different modules that you load. So I'll let you know if it's any good. But again, you can see there's Coyote and Crow games. These are the kinds of ads that you're going to see. Like, you know, these are for upcoming things that retailers will want to be ordering from publishers now. There's a welcome from the actual president of GAMA itself. So there's the organization that's represented by all the publishers and retailers and such, and then there's the actual executive committee, which is John Stacy and Paul and those guys. And those are the folks that actually run GAMA day to day, but it's the board, the organizing folks are the people that are actually in the industry. So here's the GAMA executive directing folks, and I want to highlight one dude here. So this Paul McGraw right there, the events manager. We've been working with Paul for over a decade now, dealing with all the different wargame events that we do at Origins. Paul is awesome. I want to take a moment and shout out Paul because Paul is fantastic. Paul is one of those dudes that just makes mistakes and issues and problems go away. If you've got a problem, he'll solve it. But no, we've been dealing with Paul for events forever, and we love the guy to death. And selfishly, like, we hope he never gets promoted because we enjoy dealing with him so much. But he's great at what he does. The rest of these folks are wonderful. Also, Mike Mosiak's the guy that's running the media program here. Cynthia's helped us out with a bunch of Origin stuff in the past. So these are all great folks. And then here's the actual board of directors. You'll see Jason Matthews from Fort Circle over there as one of the officers. These are the people that are actually the ones that run that not run GAMA day to day, but they're the actual board that makes the decisions for GAMA. Here are the different sponsors, level 4 all the way down to level 1. You're not going to see a lot of wargame publishers in here. You're just not. Most of them aren't big enough that they're going to register here. However, there's a lot of wargame adjacent publishers. Renegade we're going to talk about quite a bit as we flip through the book here. Not a bit, but we're going to discuss Renegade here in a little bit. Catalyst with the BattleTech stuff. You're going to see like Army Painter. So you're going to see some wargame adjacent stuff in here. The folks over at Modifius and Free League are both people that we regularly cover with the site. We're actually on the media distro list for Free League, and so Rocky's done a bunch of coverage of Free League stuff for us. So you're going to see some people whose names you recognize and that we've dealt with over the years. All right, again, look, you're never going to see a manufacturer ad in a site book at Origins or Gen Con or Dragon Con or anything like that, or one of the packs. Here's the exhibit hall. Here's the list of exhibitors. I'll try and get a digital version of this that we can share on the site as a part of our coverage also. So that's the A to Z listing of the distributors. There's the exhibit hall. It's a giant L shape. I think as we are looking at it, we are up around here for the overhead media coverage. So that's where we're looking out over the crowd. Somewhere right in around here is where we are. So you're going to see some overhead pictures from up here throughout the day. So again, you know, here's Japanime with some of their upcoming releases. I don't think they brought back the Girls und Panzer version of Barbarossa, but who knows? Here's the exhibitors by booth number, so you can find them by sort of what's clustered nearby together. There's a bunch of maps of the convention center itself, so you can find where a bunch of the events and presentations are going to be. There's the lower concourse, the upper concourse sort of things. Again, these are a lot of publisher ads where they're trying to get the retailers to come pay attention. Here's the Vallejo Paints guys, as an example. Again, not a key wargaming kind of company, but wargame adjacent. And so those are the kinds of things we're going to try and find for you here as a part of the coverage. There's some info around downtown Louisville. Downtown Louisville, it's fairly tall, fairly compact. It's right up against the river. It feels like a bigger city than it probably is, but it's not bad down here. You get to see a little bit of it walking around on one of the other videos. You know, a distributor. You're not going to see a distributor ad in most convention books. Foam Brain Games is all over the place around here. They are the sponsors for the badge holders. I don't know if they're doing the lanyards. They tend to do a lot at GAMA Expo here. You're going to see them all over the place. All right, here's a couple of other publisher ads as we start flipping through, and now we're going to get into the actual event grids. So one of the things they did on Sunday as kind of a pre-show day, they did a game designer day. I'm going to scoot the camera over here. And so, look, pause if you want to actually read all the details. I'm not going to stay here too long. But really what they did is, you can see over here, a bunch of the event sessions. We're focused on folks that are trying to design and pitch and refine and test of whatever, different kinds of games. And like, how do you get your game in front of a publisher? How do you make the game better? All that kind of stuff. That was a fairly new thing this year. Here we go. So there's the exhibit hall setup. This is the Monday event grid, and there's the welcome lunch that we are not in right now because it's too damn crowded. And all of those red events that you see over there, those are all different industry seminars. Now, those are for publishers, for creators, for writers, for media folks. We can go crash some of those. There's the new media welcome. There's, creating a local gaming convention. I'm going to go check that one out because I'd like to make, our fall assembly as good as we possibly can. So you can see there's a lot of different kinds of new welcomes for different people that you can come check out. And the ones that are in red are open for everybody, that anybody can come to. So these green ones that are supposed to be for the media, that media first look campaign, we tried to do that last year. The problem was they didn't really have a bouncer at the door, so a lot of the media people trying to get a first look at new games coming from different publishers, they got crowded out by other publishers wanting to see what the competition were doing, or go chat with friends or whatever. It was kind of a pain in the butt. There's the kickoff lunch that we are not in with the Power Retailer Awards that I'm hoping we can report on later, but look, if we don't, we don't. Renegade Game Studios. I want to stop and highlight this one for just a second. So these are part of their premiere presentations, and they've got two different ones. The premiere presentations, and you'll see where those are on the grid here in a few minutes. These are specifically publisher to retailer only. Like the media, we're not even allowed in those things. If you're not a retailer, you are not allowed in there at all. They don't want publishers seeing what other publishers have coming, but they don't want the media spilling the beans on stuff that's coming up. So we're not allowed in there at all. That's just not something we get to do. But they are bringing back HeroScape, which is kind of a big deal. So we're planning on grabbing some time with the Renegade guys while we are here. We're definitely going to ask about HeroScape. But when you take a look at all of the other game titles that they're bringing around, there's a bunch of stuff that's licensed from Avalon Hill, Hasbro Avalon Hill in here, and some others. So there's, Axis and Allies. They've got a couple of the Risk titles they're bringing back. Some, 2210 and Godstorm are both very well regarded editions of Risk. Nexus Ops coming back. What's missing? You see Squad Leader in there anywhere? I'd really like to know what's going on with their revival of Squad Leader. So let's see what we can find out while we're here. When we talked to Jordan last year, you can read that stuff on our site. When we talked to Jordan last year, they mentioned that it was at least a year away just because of other things that were already further along in the production queue. So kind of curious where that sits these days. So we're going to talk to them and try and find out. All right, so these green ones that you see in here, those are the ones that are the premiere presentations that are specific for the retailers. Those are the ones that the media and everybody else are not allowed in. These other red ones, these are for anybody. So if you want to see about sealing to distributors, there's a couple of typos in here that, come on guys, we can do better than this. Getting most out of your GAMA membership. But you can see these are IP fundamentals. These are very specific, hey, this is the kind of info that you need to run a business in the game business. And that's what they're focused on here. Selling used games with almost zero risk. So these are the sorts of seminars that are going to be going on here. All right, we're going to take a second and pause here. Not really pause, but we're going to zoom in a little bit. This hosted media program. is what we are here for. This is us. So GAMA has paid for us to come, and we're not making any secret about it. GAMA paid for us to be here. Now that said, they're covering our hotel costs, they're helping cover our transportation costs, they're feeding us, but they're feeding everybody. So it's not like the food is specific to us, but we are here at their invitation, and so there's certain things we're gonna cover. We're gonna cover the board meeting. We're gonna cover certain things that they give us to go cover. The rest of the time, we're gonna wander around and talk to people and see what we want to see and let you know. And I will say, as we flip through the book, you will see last year, not a lot of war game anything. Fort Circle guys were here, the Dietz guys were here, the Aries guys were here, and like that was really all we saw for war game or war game adjacent stuff. Now there's plenty of other things we covered last year, but we were sort of stretching it a little bit here and there. This year you're going to see there's definitely more folks floating around here as we go. So how can Phoenix Fan Fusion help you sell more games? So there's a convention coming up that they're going to be talking about. There's Art Halsoren games. I'm really curious to see what they've got besides Shadow Scar. Last year, the mere mention of Castle Falkenstein sort of sent them all into a tizzy about, oh my God, we're not talking about Falkenstein. I'm curious if they're willing to talk about it this year. Oops, I accidentally became a publisher. So there's some entertaining event titles here and there. Gonna go check that one out. Curious what it says. I really want to see the ICV2 white paper and see what they have to say. Here's a whole bunch more premier presentations. Again, Chaosium and Cobalt and all of these guys are going to be talking specifically to the retailers about, hey, here's what we've got coming up. All right. Here's Aries games. Aries are here. Again, they're going to be focused more on sort of their general interest games as a whole, but you can see Quartermaster General sticking out down here. Aries Games also handles North American distribution for Nuts Publishing, so I'm curious to talk to them about what they've got coming from Nuts and how we might be able to tie in a little better with those guys for some of the wargame stuff they're doing. So these yellow ones are speed presentations, and I'm real curious whether or not media guys are allowed in that one. They're not the premier presentation, so that's a little different world, but I'm kind of curious if we're allowed into those or not. Partnering with media and event folks, I definitely want to go see what they've got to say about, what they're telling retailers and publishers about us media guys and what we kind of do. Here's a couple other ones. A social media video. Way to go, guys. 2Ds there. Here's the War Paints guys. Again, war game adjacent, not directly war game stuff, but we're still going to stop by and take a look and see what's going on there. All right. WizKids are back around. Let's see what else we got. Here are the descriptors of the different seminars. Hang on, skipped a page. All right, so the retailer appreciation box. This is pretty cool. So the retailers who go to those premier presentations, if you go to enough of them, you get a retailer appreciation box for cool stuff you can use back at your store. Here's the retailer appreciation box sponsors. That's this list here. And here's what they're providing in that box. Now, you're gonna have to pause if you want to read all the details. Again, not a lot of wargamey stuff in here, but man, if you go to enough of the retailer presentations, you get everything that is listed here. Like you go home with a crate of games. It is insane how much stuff they give you. Now you can use those as giveaways, as prizes, as promotions. You can put them in a store library. You can do all kinds of, you can make them demo copies, whatever you want to do with them. But you get this giant list of stuff here to go take back to your store and do whatever you want with them. That's kind of cool. All right, here are the event descriptions. Again, this is not a ton to really show off here, but they do give you some specific, decent information. So creating a local game convention. You ever dreamed about a local convention to support your store? Again, they're focused on that store, but like we're gonna go because I'm kind of curious what they tell folks about how to run how to run a game convention, because we are interested in making ours better. All right, again, you're gonna see some other publisher ads. Here's another example of something you'll never find at PAX or at Dragon Con or at Kubla Khan or any of the other big conventions that are out there. You're not going to find that at WBC. Tax Wizards are here to help folks with the accounting and specifically the tax stuff for their publishers and retailers. That's an important business function that these guys got to deal with that nobody on the consumer side of things cares about. All right, let's flip through a little quicker. Fallout Factions, again, the Modifius dudes. Like, this isn't core wargame stuff, but it is wargame adjacent enough. We're gonna go by and take a look. This is the kind of stuff that you're gonna see, you know, skirmish battle game there. Here are the premiere presentations. So these are, again, the folks we're not allowed to go see, but they're gonna talk to you about what's coming from those different publishers over the year. Games Workshop's got a bunch of Warhammer stuff that they're gonna be showing off here. All right, let's keep on moving. Some Call of Cthulhu stuff coming soon to Kickstarter, so they're going to be trying to show those things off. All right. Here are Academy Games are here. They weren't here last year. They're here this year. Kind of curious to see what Uwe and the gang have. Definitely interested in going by and taking a look and talking to them and seeing what they're showing. I'm really interested in Stellaris, right? What the hell's going on? It's been like 4 or 5 years. They've really irked a bunch of people with this, but I'm kind of curious to see how final what they might have here actually is. So I will let you know when I find out. Other than that, like, we know these titles. We've covered a bunch of these titles. All right. So here we go. Let's keep flipping through some of the publishers we don't care about as much. The Ad Astra Games guys are going to be here, so definitely want to go by and say hi to them. Ad Astra's sci-fi, you know, space combat kind of stuff. Again, it's wargaming. It's just in a different. It's not historical wargaming. That said, the Ad Astra guys have always been huge supporters of us through the ACDCs. They've been at every one of them. They've been a part of all of our the Connections Online conferences that we've run, where they've showed off some of what they've got for the professional and practitioner audiences for how they can do some things. Kind of curious what this Flesh and Blood thing is. Looks kind of cool. You know, we'll go find out. Polyversal, Byron's here. So definitely want to go take a look at the Polyversal booth and see what Byron's got to show off from them. Look, we've covered them off and on over the years. The first time we saw Polyversal was probably 2012, maybe. It was when we first saw Byron showing it off at Origins in demo form. We've got a copy of it at home. We still got to get out with our old Warhammer 40K Epic Scale Minis and give it a play and see. But, you know, Walter covered it for us at Origins last year. So we're going to go check out what Polyversal has here. So again, Ares was there last year, but I mean, this year we've got Academy, we've got the Polyversal guys. So I mean, we've definitely got more Wargamers around than we did last year. Free League, look, T2K is the one that's of most interest to us, although, you know, Alien Blade Runner, we've got some fans. We are on T2K's media distro list, so we get advanced copies of this stuff from Free League, and that's one of the reasons that Rocky and I have covered those over the last year. There's Paizo, itty bitty stuff. If you are a GAMA member, you get 2 full show badges for Origins, just for being a GAMA member, which is kind of handy to have. All right, there's Catalyst. Again, weren't here last year, here this year, so let's go see what they've got for Wargame stuff. Really interested to see what they're doing with Leviathans. It was a big fancy launch, and then kind of, you know, sort of just floated along a little bit, no pun intended. Curious where it's going now. Let's go see. All right, here we go. And then the Warlord guys with Bolt Action and the VR Soft guys with Swords and Sails. Look, these guys are at Origins all the time, the VR Soft guys. This is always one of those wargame adjacent sorts of things that we make sure that we include in our wargame coverage at Origins every year. You know, to note, hey, here's the booth, here are the events, go check it out. So we're gonna stop by and have a chat with those guys. But again, you know, Warlords here this year, weren't here last year, just adding to the wargame presence that's here this year. Here's the index of advertisers, should you care, and then we're wrapping up the book. See you next year. One of the things that is of interest, there are other wargame folks that are not in the book that are here. Fort Circle is here, and should have Halls of Montezuma with them, or at least taking orders on it, in addition to Shores of Tripoli, Votes for Women, and who knows what else. The Dietz Foundation guys are here. They've got the second printing of Littoral Commander is in hand. I don't know if they're going to have a copy of the Littoral Commander Baltic game or not. I'm hoping Jim's got one so we can have a chat with him and see. But they should have copies, the second edition of 1979 with them that we can take a look at. So again, you know, the exhibit hall is going to be very different here than you see at Origins. It's not, you know, giant stacks of retail for sale copies. It's going to be like 1 and 2 of each game that as a retailer you could flip through to take a look at and go, oh, hey, I'm kind of interested in this. But the price sheets are not for single quantities, they're for entire cases. They're in dozens of quantities because that's what you're ordering to stock in your store. So anyhow, I hope the site book here has given you a sense of what's going on here at GAMA Expo. And as things develop over the next several days, we're definitely going to bring you some more coverage.